We've decided not to reuse these seat belts because, well, think about it. It's sitting right next to your head, and they're kind of disgusting. Hello, sir. I need to see your license, your registration, and your small rodents, please. Really? You're still living in here. So, I'm going to open this thing up and see what makes it tick. I have already opened the one from the other side, but yeah, something went spraying and went everywhere. So, this teardown ought to go a little smoother. And we can take a quick look at what weirdness this cable here is trying to achieve. That's held on with just the one rivet. Comes right off. Okay, now this side we want to take off. This right here that says caution, do not remove. They're not kidding about that. Don't remove that. Or do remove that, I'm not your mom, but don't remove that with your eyes right next to it, or if you ever want it to go back together again. So, to get this off, we need to get these tabs out. If we want to get it off in a way we can see what's going on underneath. Let's go ahead here and just pop it up a little bit. Okay, that's got that off. Oh, easier on this side. Let's get that popped and off. Okay, so what's all this then? Well, that should be there for one thing. I am noticing, interestingly, the, well, maybe not interestingly, but the plastic is a different color from the one on the other side. Odd. Anyway, this thing right here is something Ford came up with, near as I can tell, to make it so that the seat belt isn't constantly pulling at you. We've got this end on here that the door hits. You can see it moves this little rocker here. When it moves that rocker, it pulls this little pin out of this wheel. So when the door's shut, the pin is down. Okay, so let's say you get in your Ford and you shut the door. You unspool the seat belt. It goes clickety, clickety, clickety. You clip it in and then you let it, let the slack snap out of it. It goes out to that second row there. Now if you pull it out again, just a little, it'll go into this row of teeth here. And then if you keep pulling it out, it won't snap back again. It won't retract. Presumably so that it's not cutting into your shoulder or something. If you keep pulling it past the teeth, it will eventually go around and pop back in. And then start the whole thing all over again. If you open your door, then this thing gets activated, and it moves that back on its own. I've always heard that you want your shoulder belt as tight as possible so that when you slam against it in an accident, you're just held by it, not, you know, clotheslined by it. Clearly Ford thought it was necessary. Oh, right. Then, pops right off. So if we look down in here, you'll see that there's this little dangly weight, and then there's sort of a plate up here that fits up against these ratchets. Let me play a little belt here so you can see what we're doing. Okay, so with this straight up and down, it moves easily. But if that weight gets cocked sideways, it catches and it ratchets. Get it straight again, opens up. Sideways, catches. So, what's this doing? Well, this is sort of a primitive inertia switch, I guess. So if you ram your car into something, or you hit the gas real hard, or you hit the brakes real hard, or for that matter, go around a corner real hard, this little weight will swing. Yeah. This little weight will swing back and forth. And when it swings, it moves. You can see that little metal tab right there. It pushes that little metal tab up and down. Give you a better look at that here. I've got the one I took apart earlier. So this is that plastic piece. We've got this little tab in here. You move that in any direction and that top piece pops up. It's just got a little end on it here. So yeah, that's what makes your belt lock up. To get this thing off, if you need to, just push these two bits here, and the whole thing just comes out like that. And you've got this little cable thingy. I'm sure there's some good use for these, I'm just not sure what it is. Also, these end pieces here, it seems they just clip on, and all you can really do to get them off is pop them off with a puller or panel clips, or both at the same time. Okay, so let's go ahead and break this thing down the rest of the way. It's a little Jesus clip here that just comes right off. Well, you know, jam a screwdriver and it'll pop out. Yeah, so this is where that spring lives. I've learned from last time. I knew there was a spring under there, I just did not expect it to be as energetic as it was. Okay, I can see it all coiled up in there, just waiting. Come on. That's why that's there. Anyway, with that mess out of the picture, you can simply knock that through, pull it out, bump the camera, pull that out, and then this just, where'd my tool go? There it is. Just sort of pops right out like that. What do you get from disassembling a couple of these? Well, honestly, not a whole hell of a lot. Mostly just a bunch of strap. Although I'm taking all the belts out of this truck, so I ended up with these buckle ends as well. I briefly considered making a belt to keep my pants up, but I realized that the strap's just a little too wide to go through the belt loops, so that's not going to work very well. I also considered using one of these as a quick release for a hammock in a van, so that you just basically have, you know, a couple of clips on the underside of the roof, and then you just plug your hammock in. The trouble with that is that if you oversleep, as I tend to do, then someone else could mess with you, as one or two of my friends tend to do, and just sort of unclip the hammock with you in it, so I'm kind of right off that idea too. I suppose if I felt like it, I could probably bodge some kind of ratchet strap together out of all this, but I don't really need a quick release ratchet strap either, so I'll figure out something to do with this at some point, but this is more about curiosity than anything else. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you've ever wondered what that funny clicking noise was from the seat belts in your Ford, or what those green cables did, now you know. Cool.